Welcome to the Personal Injury Law Show, viewers. My name's Tony Carbone, personal injury lawyer of 25 years experience. Next to me I've got an up-and-coming superstar lawyer, but you're a partner in a law firm, Nunzio.
Yes, Tony.
Nunzio Tartaglia.
Glad to be here. How are you?
That's a big entrance.
Thanks for that.
And also, I've got a young, budding superstar, vibrant, a lot of knowledge, Sarah Snowden. How are you, Sarah?
I'm good, thank you,
Welcome
Tony.
aboard.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Tonight we're going to be talking about insurance within a superannuation policy. Now, before we get to that,
What's in the news, Tony?
there's a lot. This is one of the most horrific stories I've seen in a long, long time. It's a 4-year-old that was killed the other day after he was attacked by a pit bull terrier. This is a situation where the neighbours across the road had this pit bull. It was out and about. I don't know how it came about to be in that situation, but attacked the mother of this child, chased the mother into the house, somehow diverted away from the mother, went to one of the children, attacked that child, then from there went to this other one that's 4 years of age and absolutely mauled him to death. It's absolutely disgraceful. That's the best way to put it. The state of the law is very appalling as well, because the most that the owners of a dog can get is $4,500 fine.
Yep.
When you recall that we were talking about the bullying cases earlier in the year, Brody Penlock, at the time they got fined, substantial fines of $350,000, Sarah. I think it's a time where the legislature, the parliament's got to start looking at imposing some serious jail time for these sorts of situations where owners have got dogs with the propensity to kill, which is what we've got here. So look, this might be just a message out there now. The Parliament, let's start doing something about this. It's happened a lot. You've got people that are dying now. You've got kids, defenceless. Anyway.
But Tony, just on that though, there is civil rights though.
There is civil rights.
The family has got rights to for compensation, obviously, with regard to this incident.
Well, the closely related family like mother, father and other people have got claims under the Wrongs Act for mental distress, post-traumatic stress.
Yeah. But look, in dog-like cases, a big issue is also insurance. For homeowners must make sure that they've got insurance attached to that.
And they've got to be very careful, because a lot of these policies exclude dogs.
Well, look, I've had a couple of instances like that where, unfortunately, the homeowner didn't have insurance which covered the incident, and the client was left with nothing.
And Sarah?
And how would someone know if they've got insurance cover?
They should read the policy, and if in doubt, get some legal advice. I don't think a lawyer would charge you much to give you some advice. And look, in fact, I've given that sort of advice over the years without charging. So there's a lot of lawyers that you know well that would give you the advice. But the message out there is keep these dogs secure, lock them away, don't let them out and about, be vigilant. And if you do have a situation like this, you're going to get your backside sued. And the judgment will stand for a long time. There's a very good chance you'll lose your house. So please do something about it. Let's get on to this topic. It's an interesting one, Sarah, because it involves everyone in the population. Anyone that's a worker has got superannuation.
Yes.
Now, tell us what we're talking about tonight. What is insurance within superannuation?
Well, basically, Tony, on most people's policies pursuant to their superannuation accounts, they will have some sort of insurance cover. It might be a lump sum, or it may be an ongoing weekly payment. And it just depends on who the fund is as to what that amount would be. But the majority of the population would have that.
You do a lot of claims, hundreds in fact.
I do.
Dealing with lump sum entitlements.
Yes.
That's what we're mainly talking about tonight.
It is. There's a total and permanent disablement entitlement, which is the lump sum entitlement. It is the general definition for that is that you are unable to work for 6 months because of your injury or illness. It doesn't have to be an injury. If you're quite ill and you can't return to work because of that, you're still covered in most instances. And that because of that injury or illness, it's unlikely that you're actually going to get back to work, either what you were doing before or anything for which you're suitably qualified to do.
And Sarah, you can lump everything into it.
Yes.
The injury you've got, which is probably your back, you might have high blood pressure, you might have stress, you might have diabetes that have come on eventually.
That's right, Tony.
Gastric disorders.
You can have everything. You lump it all in there.
Because ultimately, when you've got all those injuries and those combinations, it it all,
Yeah,
stops
it all
when people go back
manifests to
to
keep
work.
you out of a job. And plus
Yeah.
all the medication you take.
That's right.
Nuncio, what type of coverage is there? What are we talking about?
Well, there's three main types of coverage, Tony. You've got one, obviously, is a death benefit. Obviously speaks for itself, and that's obviously usually non-contentious, I suppose, coverage. The big issue with that one is actually who it goes to. And the other two we've briefly mentioned, obviously, is TPD, Total Permanent Disabled. And the third one is that of income protection, which is a useful component of your coverage. They're the three main types, Tony.
Does total and permanent disability mean you've got to lose your limbs, Sarah?
No. Well, there is some policies that require total loss for you to claim the lump sum benefit. Most of the policies just require that you have a sustained injury that prevents you from working. It doesn't have to be a total loss injury.
All right, how do you know if you've got coverage?
Well, the first thing you would do is have a look at your policy. Okay, sometimes some funds have coverage automatically, the members are automatically covered. Other funds, there is an additional premium that has to be paid to have the coverage.
Which is not big, is it?
It's not big, no. It's usually a few dollars a week, and it can be, and you can increase or decrease that coverage you need. And so the easiest way to check that is to actually have a look at your policy documents.
And tragically, a lot of people don't tick the appropriate box and they're not insured, Nods.
Look, I think a lot of people, unfortunately, don't give superannuation and insurance coverage a lot of focus. I think people, especially us younger people, think, look, we don't need it till later on.
What's that mean?
A bit later on. So it's important that you do take the time to make sure what coverage you've got and also what you need in the future.
Look, Nuncio's made a very valid point, because when I was in my late 20s and probably early 30s, I didn't really give superannuation much consideration, because you think you're too young. But as you're getting closer to 50, it becomes very, very important, because that could be your way of maintaining yourself into the future. Sarah, how would you claim? What is the process?
the first thing you do is have a look at the policy, make sure you've got coverage, and inquire with the fund, because they'll be able to tell you the amount of coverage. Obviously, it changes from year to year, so to get the appropriate amount, you do need to speak to the fund. However, you're better off speaking to a solicitor about that. Get a lawyer from the start. The process is filling out the claim forms to set up the claim from the start. It has to be set up properly from the start, and I can't stress that enough, Tony, because there is specific policies, and the policies do vary between funds. So you set them up in a way that you're complying with the policy.
Right.
You get your doctor to fill out a medical report, and that has to be supportive, and he has to answer some questions, and then you put all the supporting material together.
So Sarah, to summarise, you got a claim form?
Yes.
You got a couple of medical certificates?
Yes.
And what else? Much else? Any medical supporting
Any
medical
supportive
information
medical
you've got?
material, absolutely.
And
Now-
can you keep doing that, Sarah? Can you just keep submitting more and more medicals?
Yes, you can.
It's not a one,
Yes,
you don't get just
absolutely.
one chance at it?
Yeah, you can keep submitting them.
So Nuncio, Sarah said it's very, very important you get it right at the start.
Of course.
So get a lawyer.
Yep.
Okay. Now, we're going to have to go to a sponsors break. So viewers, please stay tuned. Don't go away. We'll be back very shortly. Thank you.